No dark mode, what the fuck? What, for Ableton? That was one of the things I was going to look at, actually, because it was in the... hold on. You're distracting me. God damn it. Live now. Your story. Oh, Mac. Yeah, Mac indeed. Mac indeed. Yes, where was I going? There's some fun themes, actually, this time around. That's a great place to start. Where are we? This one. If you have it automatically does it on Windows if you have it on dark mode in the system. That's interesting. I wonder if turn dark mode on. Yeah, it does indeed. Look at that. Haha. Checkmate, Windows users. That actually looks quite cool. Let's see. We've got Angst Robot. That's very high tech. Classic medium dark. Classic medium light. Material. Riparian. 24 karat. I see. Follow system. Tone neutral. Cool. Or warm. That's fun. And you can turn on a high contrast as well, which we might do actually. That makes it a little bit more readable. I'm as you can probably tell from the way that my face is a bit overexposed, I'm facing a window right now, so that high contrast mode is nice to combat the glare a bit. Yeah, let's rock and roll. Same. Cool. So I'm just going to test that this, I mean, I've just tested this now, and I can hear it and it should be coming through fine, but I'm going to, oh, that's a good point. Okay, apparently I'm streaming at a low bit rate. I think I have to duck it for some reason. Let's try that. I'm going to up the audio bit rate as well. What was I going to say? Yes, so I've just tested the sound. Please let me know that you can hear this. I can hear it fine, which means that you should be able to hear it too. How's the volume? How's the balance between me? I've got a bit of a ducker set up, I think, to duck the volume of Ableton while I'm talking. Hopefully we're all good on that front. Stream 6800. Apply. All right, I'm going to assume that that's fine. Sweet. Well, yeah, here we are. We are in Ableton. We are checking out some of the new features for live version 12. I've been flicking through this little help file that they chuck in here. And yeah, just going through some stuff. We've got a fancy new browser that has like tagging functions and different ways that you can kind of like categorize stuff. That seems helpful. To be honest, I do a lot of, like, most of what I get a kick out of is designing sounds from scratch. So I probably won't use that loads, but it's fun to have. That's very useful. What else we got? I'm just going to go through these little patch notes here so that we can familiarize ourselves with what's going on, and then we'll get stuck in and just try and make something and use as many of the new features as we possibly can. CC control, got a new. She be designing, she really do. CC control for external MIDI gear, that's fun. Keyboard navigation. So yeah, we've got some stuff for, I guess, just like workflow things, to use the mouse less. I meant to, normally when I stream, I would hook up my USB mouse, but I seem to have lost the USB-C adapter that makes it possible for me to do that. So, and it also means I can't update any of my USBs for like Rekordbox or anything. So that's fun. I'm going to need to get another one of those. But yeah, we've got keyboard shortcuts, high APMs. Yeah, exactly. We're going to be playing StarCraft 2 up in here. More keyboard workflow stuff. So there are, yeah, this I thought was really interesting actually. You can now like latch control. So if I want to say we've got this loop playing and I just want to hear the closed hi-hat here, if I hold down S, no, that's not how it works. It only does it for, okay, so it doesn't do it for group levels. Let's just get a random other clip in here. Chord. No, that's more of this. Okay, fine. I'll just get another drum loop in here. It's quite loud for me. But yeah, if I wanted to just solo this, I'm going to hold down S now. And then now I'm going to let go of S. It's pretty cool. It's pretty good when you just want to listen to something and tweak a controller or something like that. It'll just it'll latch on and off for you. I thought that was fun, and the same with like doing arrangement stuff and draw mode and things like that for drawing in MIDI clips and stuff. If I drop a clip in here, I can hold down B, click a bunch of stuff, and then let go of B, and now I can drag it in here and drag it around and edit it and stuff, which is cool, which is good. That's all stuff that's going to take some getting used to. We've got Meld in here, which is a whole new waveform. Definitely going to be digging into that. It's probably going to be the first thing that we actually get stuck into in a sec. I've got no idea what it's supposed to be. Bitimbral macro oscillator synthesizer, which to me says like, it sounds like what's it called? The Mutable Instruments ones, Platts, and I can't remember what the other one's called. But yeah, where you've kind of got different synthesis modes and you can sort of smoothly interpolate between them. Kind of a wavetable-ish thing, I think, is how that works. We'll see how it's implemented in Meld. That should be fun. MIDI note editing operations. We've got splitting stuff with the mouse. Let's try that now. I'm gonna, whoops, not that. Drag that in here, and then what? Hold E and click on a note at the desired location, or drag vertically across the note to split it. So if I do that, woo! Look at this. Ta-da! That's fun. Split with keyboard. Chop divides selected notes into multiple parts based on the current grid settings or into equal parts. That sounds fun. That sounds like a really fun way to screw around with MIDI, actually. Hold E and Alt on a Mac. E and Alt. Then click on a note and drag up to divide into equal parts. Look at that. That's sick. We can definitely get into some nonsense with that. In fact, let's just hear what this sounds like. If I take this kick drum, let's do 4 notes on a kick drum. And what was it? Alt and E. We divide this one into 4, this one into 3, this one into 5, that one into 2. And set a loop around that. Yeah! Sicko shit. We have Mark Fell at home. What else we got? Yeah, that's getting used. I don't know what shape this idea that we're going to develop is going to turn out like, but that is definitely getting used. Cool. And what else we got? Join creates a single note from all selected notes that have the same pitch. So if I Control A now and then just hit Command J, that'll just join them all back up. That's cool. Span, fit to time range, extends selected notes to their start and end times, match the current time selection. For example, if you select multiple notes that have varying end times within end times. Okay. I don't really get that, but I'm sure it's useful. You can now assign a single chance value to a group of notes so that either all notes play according to their set probability or only one note out of the group plays at a time. Edit menu command group notes brackets play all. Edit group notes play all. And now if I use the chance to do that, yeah, okay. So either it does all of them or it does nothing on a 43% chance basis. That's cool. That's good for if you're doing like chords and stuff like that and you want to make sure that all of the notes of the chord either play or don't play. Oops. Ungroup, not group. And once grouped, a single marker will be available for the, yeah. Cool, that's fun. And what else have we got? MIDI tools. Yeah, we're going to get really stuck into this. So all of this stuff on the left-hand side of the MIDI editor has been completely revamped. So we've got all these different tabs now. So clip is where you've kind of got your start and end point or your looping and the groove and all of that kind of stuff. That's probably familiar. Launch, also probably going to be familiar. Oh, that's not what I thought it was actually. I thought that would be like follow actions. Oh, it is follow actions. Okay, so in session view, we've got follow actions. In arrangement view, it's only program changes to like external MIDI gear. And then we've got, what else have we got? We've got pitch and time. So there's a whole bunch of controls that we've got that will do some shit basically. If I select these kick drums, so I can stretch them on kind of an arbitrary basis, which is very fun. Span them out over a really long time. In fact, let's play this clip from here so I can. It's fun. It'll let you do like kind of, I guess, metric values, which is pretty cool. You got your times 2, you divide by 2 things here. We can set length, sets the duration of the notes, right? Cool. According to the grid. So if I want to make sure that all these notes are 16ths, I've got the grid set to a 16th. I can just click that there and I'll do it. I've got humanize as well, which is fun. From right within the MIDI editor there. That's fun. That's really helpful. I think that was set to 10% by default. We can reverse them, which I guess because this is the same repeating rhythm is not that why does that sound so weird? I got legato to just automatically make all of those note lengths join up. And then we're getting into the really weird stuff. So we've got arpeggiate, which is gonna try and arpeggiate it out like a chord, I guess. We can do that across different distances. I wonder if there's a... No. Guess it will only do it for notes that are playing at the same time. So we're probably not going to get much out of arpeggiate from that point of view. Connect. I have no idea what connect does. So if I set this to like a 16th, for instance, I guess it's putting like additional notes in between existing ones. What's the cold face? That might be fun when we get to playing around with melodies and bass lines and stuff. Ornaments, to add like little flams and grace notes and stuff like that. That's really fun. Cold beat, I see. I thought you were trying to tell me that what is this? Okay, cool. Well, yeah, the point being, there's a bunch of different, we can make it, we can do like a curve and offset all of these. Like a speed curve. This is nuts. And then the really cool thing is you can build max devices that sit in this MIDI transformation part of the clip view window. Yeah, screw with all your MIDI. You can't see that. There you go. So I can build a MIDI tool inside of Max that will embed there. So that's really sick. And then we've also got generate as well. So there's transform, which obviously processes the data that's already there. And then there's generate as well. So there we go. Let's do that. And then we take a snare drum. Oh, okay, you can only do one at a time. That's interesting. You can only do it for one note. We can shift it around, we can split the notes up, we can change velocities, it looks like. There's a bunch of different patterns, we can do it at different step durations. And then there's also, what else we got? Seed, which I guess is just going to give us a bunch of MIDI data. If we do this from bass drum to this full kit here. We could change the density of that. I assume, can you MIDI map these? Or not? I don't have a MIDI controller plugged in, do I? I would hope that one could map these to MIDI, because these seem like they would be really good for live performances where yeah, you can kind of do some sort of just random algorithmic stuff. Although I don't know how you... Is there a way to change the seed? I guess you just kind of have to... No, because every time it does it the same. That just resets it. Interesting. What else have we got? Shape. I assume we'll draw a shape for us. Let's put this on 16ths. See, this is already like a lot of fun to me. This is the kind of thing that I'm like, oh yeah. Like I can imagine putting a bunch of different kick drums into a rack and just using some of these generators to throw a load of MIDI at those kick drums. And see what comes out. And then we've got a Euclidean generator here as well, which is great to have. Exactly. It's great to just have a bunch of processes in your MIDI editor that will just throw musical material at you. And chances are a lot of the time it's not going to be super inspiring right off the bat, but it's a starting point. It's some material that you can begin with and shape as you see fit. So we'll do that. We'll get into that. But yeah, that's a brief overview of all the MIDI tools stuff. Max for Live MIDI tools we've talked about. Mixer, in, arrangement, view. This is huge. This is absolutely enormous, stupendous developments. Where is the button for it? It's down here. Ha ha! So I can now have, while I'm in the arrangement view, you can still have the mixer up, and you can choose what modules it has in it. So you can have the in and out, which I don't really need because I'm not recording from any sort of live sources. You can have sends, volume, track options. So we've got delay, track delay and stuff like that. I guess that's useful if you're doing live stuff. Crossfader, performance impact, which I think is a new setting, where it will show you the CPU usage of whatever you've got going on, which is very cool, very helpful. You don't need two screens anymore. Yeah, you can, I think there is a thing, we'll get to it actually, we'll get to it. Pitch and time utilities. Oh yeah, we talked about that. I guess that's technically not the same thing as MIDI tools. Raw, we're going to dig into, because that's a new distortion effect that I'm very curious about. And envelope follower is great to have on a distortion, LFOs, modulation matrix. Yeah, it does like a multiband distortion thing, which actually is like, so I've been doing a couple of mixing and mastering jobs, but primarily for mixing purposes. I've had clients kind of asking me like, oh, what sort of stuff are you doing to get this kind of sound and things like that, and a lot of particularly for like techno stuff, for kick drums and bass sounds and things like that. FabFilter Saturn is like one of my most used plugins for that stuff, because it's a saturator that you can split into different bands and have different distortion models on each frequency range. And there wasn't a good way to do that inside of Ableton, except now there is, because we've got Raw. So I'm hoping, I've got high hopes for that basically, which should be cool. Scale awareness. Yeah, you can set a scale for your entire project now, and you can toggle your MIDI clips to pay attention to that scale, which is sick. I forget where that lives though. Fit to scale. I believe that must be. Built-in MIDI effects arpeggiator core. Okay, in clip view, when a scale is active, a new highlight scale option appears in the note editor. Well, maybe we'll dig into that in a sec as well. We'll try and make use of this scale stuff, because I wonder if you can do microtonal scales from this thing. I would be curious if you could do that. That would be sweet. If you could just like set your entire project to a microtonal tuning and have all of your instruments that can do that conform to that. That would be sick. Scale mode controls will reflect any changes when clips with different scales are played, making it easier to see at a glance which scales are being used in a set. Key tracks that belong to the notes of scale will be highlighted in a unique purple colour. It's used to files to signify scale awareness throughout live. Yeah. And then, yeah, so the MIDI effects are aware of what scale you've got your project set to up there. I guess it's a bit like having a groove, but it's just one for the whole project rather than having like the groove pool where you've got a bunch of different stuff going on. And then Meld apparently has scale awareness, which is really interesting. I don't know what that tells us about how Meld works, but again, we will dig into it very shortly. Screen reader support, awesome. More accessibility tools. added in here than I believe I've seen in an Ableton update for a long time, so that's sick. Sound similarity searching. This is really interesting. I don't know about this. So if I do this and I click on that and I want to find more sounds that sound like this particular synth patch, theoretically it indexes, I don't know whether it's doing just kind of like an FFT analysis or a spectrogram or something like that on the back end. But basically, you can click the thing and be like, I want to hear sounds that sound similar to this particular patch, this particular sound, and it will throw up a bunch of stuff for you. Why have it's because I'm on there. And also, it will do that inside of a drum rack. So if I click the similar sample swap button, let's just play this loop again. Oh, not that loop. I've completely gubbed it. Let's just get a fresh drum pan. That'll do. And we're gonna get rid of that. Cool. So yeah, so theoretically, if I click on this, I can now tab between similar sounds for each of these drum samplers. That is fairly similar. We've got this kind of like 909y distorted thing going on. That's fun. Let's change the snare. This is a very intuitive way of, I don't know how similar that one is, but this one's got like a really, that's fun. Yeah, that's a really fun way to listen to sounds, to listen to your loop as you've got it set up and swap out different sounds. It's kind of hard. And I guess, so yeah, so that was something that I saw when I booted up Live 12 for the first time. Was there was like along this little information bar there was like an analysis thing happening, which I thought was a waveform thing, but I don't think it was. I think it was for this kind of indexing similar sound process. That's very cool. I like that a lot. To the right of the device's title bar. To display similarity swapping options for the entire rack and individual pads. Oh, that's interesting. So I could theoretically swap all of them. How do I do that? Oh, that's sick. Swap all pads to next similar sample. That's fascinating. That's really fascinating. And then if we return to reference, we're back to our original sounds. Very cool, very fun. And yeah, I think that's going to be really huge for like usability and people being able to make their own kits in a fun kind of way. It is now possible to access clip view and device view at the same time. I mean, in theory, right, you could have clip view and device view and the arrangement and the mixer all open at the same time, which is, I mean, a nightmare for actually fitting everything on the screen, but you can do it. It's possible now. They said it couldn't be done, but it can be done. Yeah, I think this is, sometimes you get these you get these changes that you think like, how did it take them so long to do this? But also at the same time, I'm so glad they did this. It's a both and situation of like, oh my God, I can't believe it's taken till now to actually be able to do that. But yeah, I think that's great. I am all for that. What else have we got? Oh yeah, that was the other thing. When only one of the views, there was something about having two monitors. It's open. When only one of the views is displayed, you can still switch between them using Shift and Tab like you would normally do. When both are shown, Shift and Tab will move the focus between two views. Holding Option, clicking on either the clip view or the device view toggle will open both views at the same time. That's cool. Maybe I was confusing it with something else. So yeah, tuning systems. This is what I was wondering about a minute ago. Tuning systems can now be loaded into live sets by dragging and dropping a scalar file into the tuning section of the browser, which is interesting. Live 12 core library also includes a set of various tuning systems which you can find in the new tunings label in the browser. I missed that. That's very cool. That's very cool. We are gonna do so. I mean, this is the ideas are percolating, the things are all kind of filtering into each other. We are going to do some equal temperament microtonal stuff. We're going to use the MIDI generators to come up with some fun, weird algorithmic drum patterns. We're going to use the new Meld synth, and we're going to have some fun with it. When a tuning system is loaded, the corresponding pitches will be played when using any of Live's built-in instruments, as well as any MPE-enabled plugins and external instruments, provided that the pitch bend range is set to 48 semitones. That's cool. Non-MPE, play out tune. Loaded tuning system can be saved as okay. Bypass tuning toggle in the I/O section of the mixer can be used to bypass a loaded tuning system for an individual MIDI track. That's fun. That's useful. It's also possible to configure a track tuning layout for external MIDI controllers. Great. Absolutely great. I kind of figured when the microtuner device came out, the Max for Live device that they kind of officially put out for 11.1 or whatever it was, I kind of figured that they were getting more into different tunings, microtonal stuff, opening up the software for non-Western scales. And I think that's great. I am all for it. I think the more adaptable a tool can be, Ableton, this is what Ableton is good at, right? Ableton as a, specifically with Push as well, between Max and Max for Live and the ongoing development of Live, enabling Max for Live devices on Push 3 being a standalone thing that you can customize. They're really good about developing the software in a way that is adaptable to the end user's needs. It's a kind of very, I don't know. They're always adding functionality to it, and it's, in my experience, the kind of least prescriptive DAW in terms of like things not really being set in stone in the same way. Like I do all my mixing I do in Logic, and Logic is a particular program with a particular workflow that has a particular set of capabilities and a particular set of things that it's good at. Ableton is much more open to me, and I think that is why it is so well liked by the people who use it. People become Ableton evangelists because it's good. It's whatever you need it to be, almost within reason. UI stuff, you can kind of see it's all a bit rounded edges and kind of you know, we did the high contrast thing and the new themes and things like that, and it's all very cool. And I think that's it for the big stuff. So let's get serious. What have we got? Bowl and Pierce Rational, ED3 Bowl and Pierce. So if I just double click that, does that now mean that when I load in a instruments, oh, okay, we've got Max for Live Instruments just in the Instruments tab on the viewer now. That's cool. Meld. Okay, we're gonna dig into this, and the first way we're gonna dig into it is by bashing around with the sick. We've got microtones. Let's try a different tuning. Let's try 12 to unequal temperament. It's great. It's so good. 12 to equal temperament is great because it's like your typical 12-note scale, but everything is slightly off and it's a little bit unsettling. Tunings, I think tunings is new. So you have like a global tuning that you can set for your project, and you can basically all of the like the new MIDI tools and stuff like that. And I think certain functions inside of some of the instruments, like Meld, will pay attention to what tuning you've set it to. So so yeah, that's sick. 41 Edo. You want to follow some extremely tiny step jumps between how it goes up to 72. Hey Jack. Yeah, so that's a lot of fun. Maybe we try 19 Edo. I remember sounding pretty nice. We can play around with some of this stuff. Okay, let's do some sound design. And we are going to use this new functionality of being able to see the device and the MIDI editor at the same time, because that rocks. I'm so happy about it. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in a middle C. And we're just going to play around with the synthesis parameters here. And I'm just going to get rid of the drum kit. In fact, we're going to drop in a couple of middle Cs. No, we're not. We're just going to do one. What's like the least annoying way? And in fact, I'm going to bring it. Who am I kidding? We're making a bass sound. Okay, so what have we got here with Meld? So already, right away, I'm thinking, okay, this is a lot like the Mutable Instruments Platts or is it Braids, the other one? Oh, use current scale, yes. All transpositions are in scale degrees instead of semitones. So the way that I believe Platts works, my head is covering some stuff. Of course it is. Let me move my head. I'm going to move my head. I'm going to put, whoops, that's not my head. Thank you. I'm going to put me over here. No, I'm not. Yeah, there, that'll do. Let's go over here. Floating around. So So yeah, the way that I believe the mutable plat stuff works with like a macro oscillator is it's a two-dimensional wavetable. So on we've got two controls per kind of like per layer, per wavetable thing. And along one axis, we are going through the wavetable the way that you would in wavetable. See, you asked me to do some wavetable stuff, Will. So inside a wavetable here, right? Let me duplicate these MIDI clips. So inside of wavetable, we've got a parameter that's controlling the position of where we're at inside the wavetable. So that's one thing, right? That is basically interpolating between different oscillator waveforms in a kind of smooth way. Inside of, I presume, inside of Meld here, what we've got is one control that is doing exactly that. Oh, I'm not hearing it because we're not actually hearing it. So that sounds very similar right off the bat, right? We're moving through the wavetable position. But then we've also got a secondary control, which is like... That sounds like FM almost to me. But basically it's an additional... So if we're moving this way through a wavetable, we can also move kind of like this way as well through a table of wavetables, if that makes sense. It doesn't have to make sense. Okay, so let's play around with some of these sounds. Cool, we've got a D-tune. Pretty sweet supersaw, especially if we layer in another one. There you go, right away. I'm just going to turn... That's interesting. Can I not just have... Oh, I just turn it off there, can't I? Cool. Cool, so we've got dual bass extension, what we've got. Ooh! That's pretty gnarly. Oh, mama! That's cool. Some kind of old school, like 80s home computer pulse width modulation stuff. You can get, I'm already feeling like you can get some noisy stuff out of this. Oh, okay, that really is sub. What do we think aux is? I don't know how much that's doing anything. We're getting an increase, if we look here, we're getting an increase in output level from this aux thing. But I don't know how much. I mean, that right there is great, right? For having a... You could layer that up with any other like bass sound that you wanted to get beefier, with just like the same MIDI information that whatever, from whatever you're playing, and have that. Okay, I'm already liking the look of this. Oh yeah. Give me a swarm of sine waves. Yeah, big time. That kind of like spectral sound of all those kind of all those sine waves all in a big bucket together. Ooh. So like right away, right? Like we can imagine how you could build an entire song out of this um synth model, right? Of just like automating these different things, having modulators and LFOs, and we've got this whole modulation matrix here, which actually is nuts now that I'm looking at it. This is a huge amount of modulation, and you have one of these pages per synth voice. So simple and nice for stupid people like me. I guess so. I don't really know what you mean by that, but Swarm Saw. Yeah. Just makes sense to me is what I mean. Yeah. I think that is such a huge thing that has... Oops, I just forgot that I'm wearing mascara and rubbed my eyes. Do I look horrendous now? It's fine. I look fine. Sorry for getting really close to your face there. To the camera, which is essentially your face, right? But yeah, I think that's a huge thing that has come out of like the modular world. Is ooh. Hold on. We have the THX noise at home. The deep note. Yeah, that's a huge thing that's kind of come out of like I would say the modular world in recent years is like these kind of like advanced synthesis methods and all of this cool stuff that you can do with digital oscillators and all of these fun, weird interactions that you can do. Trying to design ways of making those interesting parameters accessible in a format where you've got this much space to fit a few controls on. You might have like 4 different knobs on it, and doing stuff like this macro oscillator kind of design is yeah, it's about kind of like opening up these interesting sonic possibilities in a way that is just kind of like intuitive and has a lot of immediacy to it. Oh, my CPU has spiked. That is fascinating. I mean, you could do a whole ass drone piece just playing with that. Oh, absolutely. Yes, I'm excited about these. I'm excited about these synth models. Okay, so far so frequency modulation. That's lovely. That's really, really nice. And then we've got ratty, noisy frequency modulations as well as the kind of lovely harmonic, sweet stuff. Great. That's fun. Simple FM. Yeah, opening up different types of sounds to people who might not be as confident. Like, people who might not be confident opening up like an instance of operator. Having this kind of FM. Sick. This kind of like crappy, grainy, chip-tuney oscillator. Yeah, opening up these different... Oh, we've got a shepherd tone generator. Yeah, we have. Sick. Yeah, opening up these different... I keep getting distracted by playing around with the new toys. But yeah, having this format of... Oh, that's great. That's instant kick drums. Great. Awesome. Again, I'm getting distracted. Having different synthesis models accessible in a way where you don't need, like, you know, a degree to figure out how to actually use them and engage with them. Oh, yeah! So the pitch on the keyboard is controlling the rate of this pew pew pew. Oh, so good. What else have we got? Oh my god, there's still like 5 or 6 more. Would you say, Interlaced asks, would you say there is a lot of quality of life stuff in Ableton 12, or mostly new and improved sounds, algorithms, etc.? Yes, absolutely. There is tons of quality of life stuff that I've seen so far. So the main stuff would be like this here on screen, where previously you would have to swap between the clip view and the device view to, you know, if you wanted to change a sound while you were changing, while you're editing MIDI or whatever, you'd have to tap between them. Now, you can just see them both at once. Isn't that great? Also, arrangement view now has a mixer in it. So again, you're not like tabbing in between. Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting. I know that the tab button is right next to the mic on my laptop, so it makes a lot of noise when I press that. I forgot about that, I'm sorry. But yeah, so rather than having to like tab between session view and arrangement view, where before you didn't have a mixer, right, in arrangement view, you now have access to that here. A bunch of the so all the kind of like sounds and samples and all of the stuff that's in your library basically now is indexed with a bunch of different like tags and filters, which seem really cool and helpful, where, you know, you can kind of filter between different kind of combinations of tags and filters and stuff like that. There's a bunch of new, like, oh god, I did it again. There's a bunch of new keyboard shortcuts and all of these like crazy new ways of working with MIDI and things like that. Yeah, it really does feel like I don't know how, I don't remember what the jump was like between 10 and 11. I seem to remember I wasn't like, it took me a while to upgrade from 10 to 11. And I don't know how much of a leap that felt like. But here, 11 to 12, it does feel like, okay, there's a new synth, there's a new distortion plugin, there's all of these new ways of working with MIDI that I'm going to get stuck into. God, I've been waffling for an hour, and all we've done is go over the patch notes and flick through some synthesis algorithms. But yeah, there's all of this new kind of like practical stuff, idea generation stuff, sound design stuff, and also the user interface just feels better. It feels like there are workflow adaptations that are going to make a meaningful difference to how quickly you can kind of get ideas down, and even what kind of ideas get made. Yeah, it definitely feels like they've jammed a bunch of stuff in on the user interface and practicality and workflow end, as well as the kind of like fun toys, sound design, MIDI generation, all of that kind of stuff end. Definitely. From my very preliminary, I've only tooled around with this for a couple of hours so far. But from my very early impressions, that would be my assessment so far. Okay, let's get stuck into this, because I can sit here and play with synthesis algorithms all day. There was something in particular that I thought sounded really cool, and I can't remember what it was. It was perhaps the harmonic FM? But then that's kind of the kind of sound that I would kind of go for anyway. Let's try something else instead. In fact, let's do a chord sound. Let's load up a really basic wave form, and screw around with making some chords. In microtonal 19-step equally divided octaves, because that's, this is the name of the game. I'm going to do one note at a time here, and I'm going to change these. That's nice. If I put that up an octave. Yeah, these are all quite close together, aren't they? I'm going to space that up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. To go up an octave. All right, that's great. That's a great first chord. It's mournful, it's sad, it's classic shit for me. And I'm going to use this new thing. So I'm going to hold Alt and E. We're going to split this into two, first of all. And then I'm going to split this first note into two again. So what I'm doing is I'm holding Alt and E and dragging up. And the higher I drag up, the more notes it gets split into. Whoops, okay, we've got a CPU spike. I probably need to set my buffer size to something bigger because I am streaming. Never mind, it's at 1024. We're going to be high latency, I mean. And we'll do this. Whoops. Let's see here. Let's get some release time on the go. And let's do 4 voices. Oops. Definitely getting choppy there. What can I do to save some CPU? Well, Max is open from when I clicked on that Max for Live Tools thing, so I'm going to quit that. Is there a thing that I can also close from here? Not really. I can probably close this actually if I do that. All right, let's try that. That should. Why is that not staying when I change focus? That's annoying. I would like to. If I do that, there we go. Sorry, folks. This is the first time I've ever actually streamed to YouTube, so I'm figuring stuff out still. There we go. We're going to make this a longer pattern. Let's do another few bars, and maybe we copy one of these notes and do something like this. Duplicate, duplicate. Nope, not Alt, Alt and E. Screwing around with this stuff. Let's try some of that. Quite like this. And I'm thinking right away that I want the envelope to change this here. We're going to use an LFO, we're going to slow the rate right down, we're also going to target that. And we're going to turn retrigger off. Why is that resetting? That's interesting. So it's not retriggering on the start of a new note, but when it gets to the end of a bar, it's starting again. LFO1 effects. Got an attenuator. Ah, yes. They really have just gone like, what's some sicko shit from the modular world where we can screw around with all of these LFOs. Yeah, this matrix is absolutely wild. Like, I thought the one from Wavetable was pretty extensive, right? So we've got this one in Wavetable. How do you swap which way around? No, not that. Matrix. Oh no, that is the way that you do it. But yeah, even then, like, it doesn't love spreadsheets, to be honest. Yeah, the office worker has logged on. where with like Wavetable, it doesn't actually show you the option to affect it in the mod matrix until you actually start wiggling the control. And in that way, it kind of keeps it quite compact. Meld here has just been like, oh, actually, it looks like, yes. So it looks like it does that same thing in the Meld. Literally got one open right now. It looks like it does that in the Meld window when you haven't got it broken out, and then when you expand it all, you can actually see how much. I suspect the one for oh, that's sick that you can cross modulate between the two voices. Sorry, getting distracted again. I suspect the one that the one for Wavetable would look a lot like this if you could see the entire thing, all copied out. But yeah, you're right. Actually, maybe let's just keep it kind of simple down here for now. All right, we've got a chord. But yeah, that was right. I was trying to figure out why the LFO seemed to be re-triggering. Like if you look at this, it goes kind of positive and then it goes negative a bit and then it resets. I don't know why that is. Yeah, there's something weird going on because it's not re-triggering. It's specifically not. What does this do? Link. What does that link? Yeah, you can see it's going positive and then it's going negative and then it resets. I don't know why that's happening. Filling a spreadsheet, keeping them up. Spreadsheet for your spreadsheets. Yeah, I'm somewhat flummoxed by this because it should not be resetting because it has not got re-trigger on. Very odd. Oh, I did it again. Stack, what does stack do? Number of stacked voices for a single note. Stacked voices duplicate both engines for each note, including filters, modulations, and a mixer. So it can create a heavy CPU load. That's interesting. Alright, I'm not going to worry about that for now. Settings. Aha! Oscillator key tracking. Yeah, we probably want that on. Scale awareness for oscillator and filter. That's cool. Nothing about why this LFO is resetting. What if I just turn the MIDI clip off and we just have one note in there? So that's only going, the LFO is only actually moving for as long as the note lasts. Weird. I don't know what's up with that. Whoops. Yeah, I'm confused. Also, I realized that actually what we can do, instead of having this all stacked up here, we can drop it in a chord effect, and that will allow us to I don't remember what any of the notes were now. I think it was this +8, so that's what's... There we go, yeah. 19 +8. I like that actually. Oh, that's so nice. This is new, I think, this strum thing in the chord device. And we can I like that a lot. So what I'm going to do is, oh, that's huge. Okay, this is, no one is going to care. Well, not no one. Very few people are going to care about this that aren't me. I don't think this was available in Live 11. So I've right-clicked, and where you can do stuff like show the automation, which will show the automation inside the clip or in the arrangement clip if that's where you're playing from. And you can kind of like MIDI map and key map and all of that kind of stuff. Copy Max for Live path is enormous for Max for Live development. So previously, if you wanted to access a parameter inside of Live from inside of a Max for Live device, so rather than like, let me show you, rather than like an LFO here, right? This is a Max for Live device, and the way that a lot of Max for Live devices for user experience purposes address different controls inside of Live is you click this, so you click map, the map button flashes, and then you click the parameter that you want to control, which, by the way, okay, we'll get to this in a sec, but that's how you kind of like traditionally do it, right? Is that you click a thing, it maps a parameter, you go to the thing. Now there is an option inside of the right click menu to just copy the Max for Live path. So I can copy that and I can paste that into my Max for Live device, and that will be the way that I access the different parameters inside of my device. That's a huge time save, because previously what you would have to do is like figure out using the API like what track it's on and how you address it and all of these different kind of branches and all this stuff and look through the documentation. But the fact that you can now just right click something and say, hey, I want to address this, how do I control it from Max for Live? That's cool. So the other thing that I noticed there, and this was something I also saw in the patch notes, was this new behavior for Max for Live devices. So previously, Max for Live devices, when you are controlling a parameter using a Max for Live device, it does this, where basically the Max for Live device has complete control over the parameter that it's automating, and I can click on that, I can drag, I can do as much as I want to try and change it, but I can't actually change it. Now there's a new behavior instead of remote, which is modulation. So now I can set where I want the control to be, and the device is going to kind of like change that in a kind of plus and minus, where it's going to like modulate around wherever I've set this to. So it's kind of like, in addition to my mouse input, I can set this wherever I want, and also it's being modulated by the LFO, instead of the LFO just having complete control over the parameter. So that's another huge thing for just like ease of use, basically, and yeah, a workflow thing, a sound design thing that is very cool. But I didn't want to put an LFO on that. What I wanted to put on that was one of my own plugins. If I can remember what it's called, Param Counter. You can get it at outsiderspeaks.gumroad.com, I think it is. What's the URL for that? I forget what the URL is. Let me double check what my own Gumroad is. Yeah, I'm 90% sure it's Outsider Speaks. If I can spell it. .gumroad.com. That's it. Yeah. You can go to outsiderspeaks.gumroad.com and download any and all of my Max for Live devices. This one's called Param Counter, where basically it waits for a set number of note triggers to come into it, and when it has reached the number that you set here, it jumps to a new randomized value between a range that you set. So if we want every 4 notes, it will jump to a new parameter value between 0 and 100%. And it has look ahead as well, because sometimes it'll jump to a new value while there's a note playing, and it'll sound kind of weird. Sorry, I've just noticed there's kind of like, I think that's just a trick of the light, isn't it? Yeah. Sometimes you'll hear it jump while a note is already playing, so. This is a good way to get randomized parameter changes that are synced to your musical information, but aren't like not like an LFO or whatever. It's kind of unrelated to the actual rhythm that's coming in. Like this is actually a what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, weird. A 16 note rhythm, but we're getting a new parameter value every 9 notes. Not a specific Live 12 question, but do you think the DAWs with millions of options can cause like empty canvas syndrome? Do you have a way of still being creative within all these options? Great question. Great question. It can be a double-edged sword, right? It can be a blessing and a curse to have all of these options, have all of these tools at your disposal, and to be able to do so many things that you don't know where to start and you don't know what to choose. That is a very real difficulty, a very real kind of like problem that you run into when you have all of these tools at disposal. I think it's why, part of why hardware is so appealing, right? When you've got a specific box with a specific design and a specific set of capabilities, the creative field, the canvas isn't quite so blank, right? Or it's not quite so broad. And you're honed in on a particular set of capabilities, and you've got to work within them to find something that you think is interesting. When it comes to, I've always been a software user. I've never, I owned a Microkorg for a while. It's the only synth I've ever really owned. I've never done the modular thing. Because I've never had the money to be honest. Software is easy to acquire cheaply, shall we say. And like, yeah, that's something that I've had to work around, is that problem of like, okay, you have all of the affordances of modern computing. The question of like the capability is enormous, right? You can do pretty much anything you can imagine from within these types of software. So the question, rather than being what can I do, becomes what do I want to do, or how do I want to do it? Because you can do anything. So I think that's why I'm so excited to dig into all of these new things, right? All of these new tools, is because it provides a focal point for creativity and for working with different options. Like throughout this stream, like the first hour or so before I actually started putting notes in and tweaking synth sounds and stuff like that, the whole way through all of that, I was going through the different features, talking about all of the stuff that they've added. And as I was going through that, I don't know if you might have joined a little bit later, but as I was going through all of that, I was kind of making a bit of a mental checklist of, right, okay, here's this new feature. I want to use that. I want to use the MIDI generators in the clip view that they've added, the MIDI tools. I want to use Meld because that's a new synth and I want to play around with that. And I want to play with tunings. So you can set a global tuning for the whole project. I want to play around with how that works and see what I can get into with that. And yeah, I guess for me, it's kind of about like finding, not even necessarily like setting rules for yourself, although that can be a really great way of doing things, is to set a strict set of rules of like, okay, I'm going to make a whole track using only one synth, or I'm going to take one sample and that's going to be the source of all of my different sounds for this entire song, or something like that, you know, and you reprocess it in different ways, whatever. But you don't even necessarily have to be as strict as that, so much as like, if you can find a particular thing that you're interested in investigating, or a particular set of things that you're interested in investigating, and let that be your focus. Let a particular process, a particular plugin, a particular synth, a particular, I don't know, rhythm or something like that. If you can find like a set of one or two or three specific ideas that you're interested in exploring, that I think is the way that you escape this intimidation factor of having a blank canvas in front of you and actually hone in on, okay, I made my hands fart, actually hone in on like, okay, I am doing this, and this is, you know, I am engaging in the creative act, right? Because all you really want to do is it's kind of like, you have to set the conditions where your brain and your creative instincts and your technical skills you want to give them something they can chew on, right? You want to throw them some input, some source material to churn away at, and for those internal processes to spin off and build on and interpret. The problem of blank canvas syndrome and having too many options and too many things to do is a problem of not having any. The real problem there is that you don't have any input to your creative process. You know, your creative process is a process like any other. It's like a machine. It's a machine like any other, where it takes inputs and produces outputs, and the things that happen in between there vary wildly from person to person and from day to day, even, right? But you can't have a process without an input. And the input might be your inspirations, or it might be your tastes, or a something that makes you laugh, or like, what if I made a song out of this, or I'm going to take this sample and process it and whatever. But like, yeah, the whole idea for me anyway is to give that process something to work on, because you can't produce something from nothing, right? So when you've got a bunch of tools and you've got a bunch of possibilities and the field is wide open for you to do whatever you want in a software that's as complex and full featured as Live 12 or any other DAW that you're using, and you're struggling with that feeling of the blank canvas and the intimidation of like, where do I even begin? Just pick something, pick anything, pick some arbitrary starting point of like, okay, I'm going to try and use this synth, and I'm going to try to, I don't know, make a song with only one chord in it, or I'm going to make a drum pattern where you can only ever hear one drum at a time. You can't have more than one drum playing at once, or just set some arbitrary goal for yourself and see where it takes you. And you don't have to stick to that one goal all the way through the process. You know, I don't have to stick to just using Meld and this tuning system and the MIDI generators to make an entire song out of. But if I restrict myself to those specific tools or to a specific set of ideas in this early ideation stage, that is the source material that my creative process takes as the input and churns through, and eventually the process is just running by itself, right? I don't have to worry about where it's going to go next, because I've given it that input and I'm listening to what I'm doing and I'm responding to it, and it's going in a direction where I'm excited about it, and I don't have to think too much about like, what am I going to add next? It's like, no, I've got an idea in it and it's going in a direction already. It's developing kind of a life of its own. That's the point we want to get to, is to have you want to try and capture that feeling, right, of like being creative and your idea feeling like it's just making itself. Like, that is the creative spark, the creative impulse. That's where, in my experience, the best ideas come from. And yeah, I do think it's just about like limiting, like deciding on something completely arbitrary that you don't even have to stick to throughout the whole process, just to give yourself a starting point of like, I'm going to fix these points down in space so that all I've got to do, or I know what I have to do, is to connect them. And the interesting thing then becomes like, okay, well, how do I connect them in an interesting way? If you start with absolutely nothing, you could draw anything, and that's the question, is like, what do I even do? But when you're fixed down, like, okay, I know what the dots are, I just have to connect them. That's the way to get everything churning and to escape writer's block, to be honest. And any kind of creative blockage that I've had is just like, yeah, I don't know. It's not, thankfully, it's not something that I suffer with too much anymore, because I like forcibly retaught my brain what to do in that situation, and how to react and to respond to different creative stimuli, and yeah, just like shifting the focus of like what it is you're even trying to do. If you're trying to come up with musical ideas and create something that is create something from nothing, that's, you're setting yourself up to fail, because it's really hard to do that, if not impossible. But if you change the focus to, I'm going to explore these particular tools or these particular ideas, that's the way to unlock everything and to get everything moving in a way that hopefully feels creative and fun and freeing, and yeah, is where we want to be. I feel like I just spoke for a really long time about in response to that question, but it was a really good question. That's really well put. Thank you for sharing. I agree. Limitations, best thing that ever happened to my art. The process I made just by doing less is annoyingly big. Same goes for melodies. Yeah, it's reduce, 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 reduce. It all points in the creative process, in my experience. Like limiting the number of things you have to think about, whether it is limiting your tools and what ideas you're exploring at the beginning of the process, like we're talking about here, whether it's reducing the amount of stuff that's in your track, right? Like if when you get to the point of the arrangement, like much better to present one idea really well than have like 6 ideas and not develop them or whatever. When it comes to the mix, you know, you want to reduce as many things, like don't have anything in your song or in your creative work, whatever it might be, that doesn't need to be there, that doesn't belong there. Yeah, reduce limitations. That is, necessity is the mother of invention, right? When you spreadsheet says that if I keep reducing like this in 2028, I'll be straight up doing nothing at all. Yeah, hell yeah. That is, I've been reading, in fact, I've got it right here. I've been reading the books of Earthsea. Shout out to Shelved by Genre, an excellent podcast about genre fiction. But the Archmage Ged says in the book in Earthsea, like, eventually, you know, you start out thinking like, oh, what can I do? You know, the young man wonders, what can I do? What is within my power to act upon the world? And then, as you kind of, I can't remember how he phrases it, but eventually, it's like, you know, you reach a point of wisdom that the wise man does only what he must, yeah, like once you've set up the parameters for yourself to work in, like eventually there's only one thing that you can do, because you are you and you respond to the creative situation in the way that you respond to it, and given a set of circumstances, it produces a certain output because you're a human creativity machine, and yeah, reduction is really good, and I have talked for a really long time about it. But that's fine. I am gonna go pee because I drank a coffee at the start of this stream and it's been like 90 minutes, and now I have to pee, so I'll be spread those sheets. You dog. Right. Cool. So we've got a fun little chordy. Oh shit. The stream, I got the stream up on my phone to make sure that it was all still working, and now it's... No, don't log my toilet time. Okay, so let's go back down a bit. What else we got? Yeah, so I was layering in this. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to group this into a instrument rack, because I would like to have a macro to control. Actually, do I need to do that? Because maybe in the matrix I can. What do I want to do? I want to control. I want the amp envelope to be the same, basically, between. Oh, you can just link them. Ah, that's what that does. Cool, great. Never mind. We can ungroup from the instrument rack. Sounds horrendous. And what's that? Sorry, when unison voices can I? What other options do we have here? Spread is going to do detune. That's great. Cool. Cool. Yeah, you're not going to get any good data from that now. Right, what was I doing? I got too busy. I got lost in the source. Yeah, I was going to check out these filters. So we have got a filter per voice. I'm just going to do. We've got a state variable filter. So presumably this will scroll through low pass, band pass, high pass, notch. Also a really nice sound design parameter to have. I like that a lot. So we'll play around with that. What else we got? We've got 24 dB state variable filter. It looks like they've copied over some of the like non-linear characteristics from autofilter. So the MS2 here and OSR. MS2 I think is the MS20. They've got like a model of the MS20 filter where if you drive it, it kind of distorts in a similar sort of way. OSR I think is, I can't remember what kind of, I think it's like a sampler or something like that. LP Crunch 12 decibels, what is this? That's a really nice. That's a really, really nice sounding filter. I'm like kind of shocked at how nice that sounds. I don't know why. That's very lovely. I like that a lot. Switched res. Oh, okay. We've got like a sample rate reduction. What do we think switched res means? Filter. See what they did there? I'm hoping we're gonna get some filth from this filter. Oh yeah. Filther. You fucking what, mate? Yeah, that's really cool. I wonder if they have I wonder if they've retrofitted bit much. Yeah, it's one for the noise girlies. I wonder if they have put these filter models into the other okay, so this doesn't have it. Wavetable doesn't have it. Into the other, like the previous no, they don't appear to have done that. The existing instruments. So we've got a bunch of bespoke filter models, which is really nice to have. I wonder if that's related, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if these like distortion models are related to, what's it called? Raw. Oh. Wow, look at all of this. There's no way I'm going to have time to dig into all of this. I'm going to have to do another one of these streams. Oh, there's like a whole modulation section on this as well. Okay. It doesn't look like it is, though, actually. This looks like it just has kind of... It doesn't look like it has different modes so much as just a kind of continuous set of kind of parameters. So that's interesting. But yeah, we've got a whole bunch of like... We've got a whole bunch of bespoke filter models. We like... Mummy like. So Crush is doing a bit depth reduction, I guess. So that's a sample rate reduction, changing the is it though? Because that definitely is. You could make some really sick drum sounds with these filters. Just putting like a blast of noise or some like atonal weirdness through it and using them as resonators. Vowel filter. Yeah. Positive comb. Cool. Negative comb filter. You could do some serious damage with these filters. Like there are, I'm like almost upset at how many different cool sounds I'm just stumbling across, flicking through the different oscillator types, the these like macro controls, the different filters and all the different like. There's like kind of too many different things to play with in a way that's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to digging into all of this stuff. Expression control on those bad boys, not the experimental EP begin. Big time, yeah. Just like, yeah, the sound design possibilities are pretty immense already. I wonder if no, I don't want to do that. Yeah, you could blast some noise through these. I would really love to have these different filters broken out into, I wonder if they've done it. I wonder if they put them in auto filter. They haven't. Yeah, I would love to have these filters broken out into a separate audio effect, because they sound like, these analog style ones sound really nice, and then these really weird ones, yeah, there's a lot of potential there for screwing around and mangling some effects. I'm just having a look. I wonder if resonators, maybe? No, not resonators. What's the corpus? We've got kind of a similar thing going on of like membrane resonator and plate resonator happening here. Yeah, it would be really nice to have some of these broken out into their own effect. Just trying to decide which SVF I want to use. I just love, the thing is, right, I just love synths and digital synthesis and just, it's just good. Screwing around with stuff. So we want filter macro 2. And we're going to use the LFO 2 to target that. And that is going to, oh, that's really fast. We're going to have that come through nice and slow. Oh, tone, that's cool. I guess it's just got kind of like a tilt EQ on the like little built-in mixer thing here. That's cool. We are also going to use the LFO. They've got separate LFOs for each voice. That's great. I am so glad about that. So yeah, that's great. I am going to use a nice slow LFO 1 to modulate the detune on this second voice here. There we go. And we're just going to do it at a small amount. I have to go, but thanks for the Beats, Boots and Stress sheets. See you next time. Nice one. Thank you so much for dropping by and for your thoughtful questions. Yeah, I'm probably going to do more of these. I'm enjoying this too much to not do it again. And I feel like we're only scratching the surface here. So, yeah, thanks for dropping by. I hope to see you again. Something not quite right about the way that the... it's doing that thing again where it resets the LFO. I wonder why that is. I wonder why that is. Is there a setting somewhere that is... Because the main culprit, right, would be this, which is re-triggering it at the start of every note, but it's not re-triggering it at the start of every note. It's re-triggering... You can see it slowly starting to creep up there, and then it resets after a little while. Ableton has always had this problem. What problem is that? The LFO's resetting. I can't remember having had this problem before. You have. That's really odd. Really odd. Maybe it doesn't happen in arrangement. That's what I'm thinking. I wonder if because the clip, because it seems to be doing it every 2 bars or whatever, right? Or every bar. So I wonder if we were to play from here, let me just drag my little clip in here, and we go through there like that, and we turn off the loop and we play from here. It goes on climbing up and up. There we go. Sounds horrific. Sucks if you're doing a live show though. Yeah, that does suck. That does suck. I have not noticed that happening before. Yeah, that does suck. That definitely sucks. I know, like, that doesn't happen with like Max for Live LFOs. So I guess what, but then you've got all this cool stuff to play around with in here that is not gonna play with that. But yeah, like, and you know, worst case scenario, I guess you could replace, like, use Max for Live LFOs for your sound design stuff. Yeah, that does suck. That definitely does suck. But yeah, we're also going to use an LFO too. So I've got LFO1 doing that one, so we want LFO2 to do this one. And this is just going to go, this is going to go in the middle at 50, and this is going to go 50% through there. So LFO, what did I just say? LFO2, yeah. kind of like slowly evolving sound. And you know what? Now I'm half tempted to split out the A side of this and the B side of this into two separate instances so that I can have them playing offset rhythms. I'm going to do that now. See, so this is how it starts, right? You set yourself a bunch of parameters to work within. In this instance, exploring the new synth Meld, playing with chords in a microtonal scale, and you know, we used the new kind of ratcheting MIDI thingy. Where are we? How do I get to? No, I just want. I don't actually want the envelopes. I just want. Where are we? Why? Oh, because I'm not in notes. Yeah, we use the thing where you can split one MIDI note into a bunch of equal length MIDI notes to make this rhythm. That was our starting point. Now it's going off. Oh God, I've done it again. I've pressed the tab button and it makes it really noisy and annoying for you. Now we've gotten to a point where it's like I'm listening to this. We've got this cool, ever-changing, chordy, floaty, synthy changing thing, and I've had the thought, aha! I want to take each of these two layers, A and B, and I want to have them playing the same rhythm at offset intervals. So now, like, the idea is suggesting new ideas to me, right? I set myself a bunch of parameters. I tried to make something within those parameters, and now the creative process is rolling, and we've got new possibilities being suggested by the process itself. So yeah, this is where we wanted to get to, which is lovely. So this is going to be our B channel, and this is going to be our A channel. So I can turn that off, and we play it from here. And all I'm going to do is change where we start from. And it doesn't sound, it sounds like a mess. But what we could do is maybe pan one to one side. I don't love it, I have to say. Oh, that I actually quite like. So offset by like a 16th. But which to have playing first, I think. And I think we set them side to side there a little bit as well. Oh, I did it again! I keep doing it! I'm so sorry. So like this is a piece of music, right? What we've got here is a piece of music where I can put this through some like a nice reverb and a delay, and I can play around with this strum. Like we've got all of this automation happening on the actual synth voices themselves, right? They're changing of their own accord, and that's cool. That's great. But to turn this into like a piece of, well, this is a piece of music already, but to kind of like give it more development, we can change the notes that are in the chord. We can play with the strum parameter. We can, yeah, we can do any of a number of things. We can further play around with these synthesis controls. We could get like, I don't know, we could get like, why have I got two 808 core kits? That's weird. We could just kind of get some very like spare little sparse little, I would maybe do like, what would I do? Like this kind of thing. No, I wouldn't want to do. I keep doing it, I'm so sorry. And instantly that's kind of given it some like, ooh, where's this going? Yeah, all of this kind of stuff. It's all like, I don't know. And then we could kind of put a nice like let's get enough meld. Alright, it's weird. It's not going up and down an octave because I've got 19 notes in an octave instead of 12. Two, three, da 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 da. That's not the right. That's this one here. Wrong note. Longer loop. Why is it not doing? To decide when I want that note to end. Somewhere around there. Okay, so immediately, right, variations. I think that's the note I thought it was playing. Okay. Microtones. What are these sounds? Sick. I don't know why I'm so drawn to these noisy shapes. Let's do something like squelch. This was a fun one. It's a little bit too noisy low res. Yeah, I don't love it. Why is it? Oh, I quite like that actually. A little bit too noisy still, but and you know, I would want some kind of, I would maybe group these two together in a instrument rack and like make a macro that controls the overall like brightness of both synth tones. I think that would be a fun way to kind of like introduce some dynamics and development into this little idea that we've got going here. Do some more stuff with the bass line. Yeah, there's a lot of potential here. Let's have a quick dig into raw. On this bass. And I'm just going to leave it as this sine wave tone, and see how messed up we can get with this new distortion. Okay, immediately a lot of flashing lights there, which is okay. filter to go after it. Okay, so far so good. So we've got tone control. This looks like a tilt EQ. This is to be believed. That drives on the input of the saturator. Color compensator, tone control. With positive values, high frequencies are boosted and lows are attenuated. The opposite occurs with negative values. Yeah. So that's like a tilt EQ on there. And then our frequency is deciding, excuse me. My lips start to feel a bit dry because I've been doing all this talking. Our frequency there is deciding where that tilt is applied, like the middle point. Compensates the effect of the tone control by applying a mirrored version of the same filter to the output. Oh, that's sick. So what it will do is, if we tilt it this way, it means that everything above 514 Hertz gets boosted. Sorry, yeah, I'm trying to make sure that I'm going the right way around on the camera, which is mirrored. So everything above 514 Hertz is boosted. And then if we click that thing in, then it applies the opposite shift to the output. So you can make it so that the distortion is more, the high frequencies are more present on the way into the distortion and then take them back out on the other end. I bet that's really good for like drums and other kind of like wide bandwidth signals. So we can drive the input of the process before it goes to the gain stage. So now we've got routing. So we've got single serial. Okay. Oh, shoot. Okay. So we've got serial where we've got one stage and then it passes into the next stage and then go out. We've got parallel where it goes to each of them side by side. Multiband where we're splitting the frequency into a low, a mid and high, which is great. This is the fab filter thing that I was talking about at the start of the stream where you can split the frequency bands into separate. I mean, with this sine wave, it's not going to be that, you're not going to be able to hear what's going on there because there's only really low frequencies in it. Mid side, very cool, and then feedback. So we're going into the first thing that gets put into the second thing. 50-50 blend. Okay. I don't know quite how that works. That's going to take some playing around with. Yeah, we've got a bunch of different modes. That's very cool. And then we've got these different shapers. So we've got digital clipping. Bit crushing. Diode clipping. Tube preamp. Sounds pretty good. Half wave rectifier. Rectification is a great way to get more high frequencies into your signal. Polynomial, so this should be, yeah. Yep. Yes. 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 Absolutely. Oh, yes. Immediately. This is like... Yep, 100%. There's some serious, like, mangling capabilities here. Oh, that is absolutely glorious. You can make it sound like a bad AD converter. This combined with some bit depth reduction. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, you're totally right. It is adding some stereo width. That's fascinating. I wonder if there is some modulation automatically applied. There isn't. That is really interesting. Yeah, you're so right. I didn't notice that, but you're absolutely right. That's in stereo. Which is super cool, actually. That's going to be a really great way to... I can imagine like using that on some like percussions or some hi-hats or something like that that are in mono, whack some of this on it and give them some stereo width so that they're occupying more of that spectrum. More of that panorama. That's sick. That's so cool. You've got a compressor on the bottom end, on the back end, I mean, on the output. We've got all of this modulation. There's an envelope follower. I am so stoked about this. I bet you, and all of these different routing options. Let's load up some of the presets actually. Let's get it on. Let's get it on these hi-hats. In fact, I think what we want to do is let's just delete that. And we'll delete that because I'll come back to this. I'm going to save this as Ableton 12 melding. And I'm going to develop this idea, and it's probably going to be a piece of music that I actually turn into, you know, a real thing. And we're going to grab a random drum groove. That'll do. Nope, not that, nor that. I want to actually drag the clip in, not just the MIDI. Okay, acid distortion. Ah! Oh, the filter has different modes as well. So not only do we have all of these different distortion modes. I was really excited about Meld, but actually, now that I'm playing around with it, Raw might be the MVP of this update. It maintains the punch of the drums but adds another leg. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because you've got a dry rec control, right? So this is 100% wet, but we can blend it in behind the dry signal. And it's got feedback as well, which is a big part of what's happening here, I suspect. Yeah, resampling stuff with it, 100%. Yeah, you could just record me I could just record myself playing around with this right now, right? And that would be like a track. I could cut that up and edit it and resample it and... Oh my god, this thing is sick. The feedback thing is huge. So setting the envelope follower to control the feedback time. So when the signal peaks, it's changing. It almost doesn't sound digital. Yeah, 100%. Like, this is the thing, right? This is the thing. Like, people are always like, oh, analog is best. Analog is still going to sound better. Like, for distortion and all that. We have reached a point where computers are good enough. Like, the processing is fast enough, and the DS, like the signal processing is sophisticated enough that, like, you can have it sound as good, you know, and it's a question of workflow, right? The fact that you can just turn one knob and have feedback is nuts. Yeah, instant lurker drums, that's 100% it. That's a nice bass fattener, that sounds really subby and intense. Oh my god, this is just... You could just sit here and load up the different presets, like get a loop that you like, download them from Splice or Reddit, or even just like I've done here, drag something in from the core library. Try out all of the different raw presets on it, resample it, and like you've got the starting point for a song there, easy. I'm blown away with this. I truly am. actress or something. Worth the 500 quid alone. Yeah, I'm a very lucky they that I got through my relationship with Saffron and Saffron's relationship with Ableton. I got the hookup, and that was huge. I just noticed you can MIDI control the frequency of the feedback. Can you? No, it's just notes. You can just set it to a pitch. That's pretty sick still though. You could automate that into a pattern. But yeah, I was very blessed to be treated to oh my god, this is just... We're gonna see like a massive wave in like 3 to 6 months from now. Bandcamp and like people's DJ USBs are going to be absolutely flooded with shit that sounds like this, with raw. I guarantee it. We're gonna just get this like all of this feedback and kind of like distorted kind of thing. This is just going to become part of Ableton Core. It is almost cheating. It feels illegal. It feels... But, you know, there's always been, like, tools that do crazy sound design stuff, right? There's always been tools with awesome presets. Ah! You know, that's just kind of like the tools are what they are. The question as ever, right, isn't like how do you make a cool sound? Because there's tons of ways to make a cool sound, whether you want to get deep into it or not. The question is, can you make a good piece of music with it? Yeah. There's a bunch of, looks like mix. I bet these sound great, to be honest. Across your whole mix, mono drum squasher. Yep. That is... Ah! Yeah, I am shocked how much... I thought it was going to be cool. I thought it was going to be... It's the feedback and the modulation that really makes this a game changer for sound design to me. Because I thought like, okay, the multiband saturation, that's great. That's going to be a really useful tool for mixing and doing like making drums sound more unique and more like you, and it's going to be a really great addition to live. But it's this like sound design stuff with envelope follower and all of these different noise modes and LFOs and feedback and all of that stuff that like, yeah, that is huge for just getting sounds in there and messing them up and making something really cool. Yeah, I'm really excited to play with those. Definitely. I'm just trying to see if there's any other kind of like major updates to any of these kind of, you know, stock plugins and sort of your kind of mainstays. But yeah, that is absolutely huge, and I am very excited for it. Yeah, it's 4:30. I'm probably gonna scoot now. It's been 2.5 hours of stream. Yeah, I am very excited about Live 12. I think it has already just like the UI adjustments and kind of like keyboard shortcuts, workflow stuff, the MIDI tools, all of that stuff is great, and I can't wait to get into it more. Meld seems like a really powerful synth engine, and Raw, yeah, huge, absolutely huge. For huge day for the freaks out there who want to make weird noises, such as yours truly. Thanks for hanging out, and yeah, shout out to everyone who dropped by in the chat. Like I say, I will probably do more of these because I like just hanging out and shooting the shit and streaming and playing around with stuff. Yeah, it's fun. So why not do more, you know? Catch you next time. Peace.